best education, the very best that the world has to offer, somewhere are we not able to really build the right values that really help children get ahead in life? And I think before I say much more, maybe I just share with you what some of the mothers had to say, and if I can just have the AV on the mothers, please.
I want her to take her own decisions and to say, अपनी life में आगे चले.
So I want them to follow their dreams and be successful in whatever they want to do. I want my children to be self-made, not just rely on what their parents have.
She should follow her heart, and I think I would want her to live a life with no regrets. I think my biggest dream is to see her happy in life and being able to achieve what she has dreamt for.
I want them to respect the elders, which I find less these days.
Honesty, take responsibility, very caring, independent. पेयर प्रेशर बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया है, वो सबसे ज़्यादा वरी करता है मुझे। उसका जॉब में जो अचीवमेंट्स होंगे ये सब इम्पोर्टेंट उसके लिए है लाइफ में, लेकिन वैल्यूज ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट करती हैं। और मुझे लगता है कि एज ए पेरेंट हम इनफ नहीं है।
How can we at Surf Excel help mothers and parents and partner parents help get kids ready for life? And that's really the initiative that we start today, and the conversation, more importantly, that we start today, where we're trying to enable parents with various sort of means to help them and partner them in this whole journey on getting kids ready for life. And I thought we all felt at Surf that there was no better way.
You to our other panelists who are going to be joining us for this discussion. Today we are very happy to have with us the head of pediatry and the group medical director of Apollo Hospitals, Dr. Sibyl. He's written a book called Is Your Child Ready to Face the World? And it's a testament to how you can effectively basically communicate with your children to prepare them to face the future. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Dr. Anupam Sibyl. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody you are very familiar with, somebody you've watched a lot of times, the beautiful model, actress, mother to an 11-year-old son, and author of The Modern Gurukul, My Experiments with Parenting, which is a book that provides all the achievement and challenges of a first-time mother. Put your hands together for Sonali Bendre. Welcome, Sonali. Looking forward to what you have to say. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, on the panel, Dr. Indu Shahani, the Dean of HR College of Commerce and Economics in Mumbai. And honestly, when it comes to education, Dr. Shahani he needs no introduction. We've all heard of her and what she has to say about education. She has over 3 decades of teaching experience, and she's played a pivotal role in nurturing future leaders. Please put your hands together for Dr. Indu Shahani. We also have with us Ms. Rupal Patel, who is a child psychologist and she's a parenting expert. She's conducted more than 500 workshops and seminars on parenting all over the country, and I'm sure we all want to know what she has to say today. Please welcome Dr. Rupal Patel. Right, so we are going to be, let me just tell you, we're going to be having, we'll have a panel discussion, but before that, since everyone is so eminent and, they all have their own viewpoints, it'd be nice to hear what they have to say individually. So I'd really like to request, them to give a, like an opening introduction to what their take is, so then we can take it forward. So Dr. Sibyl, we'd like to start with you, if you don't mind.
Thank you, Mini, Induji, Sonali, Priya, Rupal, the amazing HUL team that's put together this event, friends from the media. It's a privilege to be here this morning. I'd like to thank the team for inviting me. Yeah, I've been a pediatrician for more than 20 years, and every day I spend a lot of time interacting with moms and dads, and I invariably ask them this question: are you stressed being a parent? And the answer is always yes. It doesn't matter who you are. You could be an actress, you could be a journalist, you could be head of a brand, you could be a cricket star. The answer is always yes, because when you go home, you are just mom or dad, nothing more, nothing less. I want to tell you this little story. When the announcement of President Obama being awarded the Nobel Peace Prize was made, his daughter Malaya went up to him and said, "Daddy, you've just won the Nobel Peace Prize and it's Bo's birthday today." Bo, incidentally, is the dog that the President had gifted his daughters. And then Shasha, the younger one, walks in and she says, "Daddy, plus we have a 3-day weekend coming up. So you could be the President of the United States of America and we awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, but for your daughters, you're just daddy and they want to discuss the important event for the day." For a child to be a child comes naturally, but for an adult to become a parent, it's quite another story. There's so many different questions that bother a parent. You know, will my child learn to distinguish the good from the bad, make strong relationships, will my child live up to the genetic potential with which he or she is born, and a whole lot of worrying questions. But deep down there's just one sentiment, and that is, will I fail in my duty to prepare my child to face the world? And that's a worry that every parent has. So how do you prepare a child? Well, you can talk to them, it's great to talk, but how do you communicate with a generation that has absolutely no time for you? They have so many gadgets, extracurricular activities, academics, so on and so forth. They don't even want to listen, forget hearing. We can give them books to read. Yeah, there's some wonderful books that are available. But if we really look at books and data that has come out, about 50% of kids in the UK prefer watching television to reading books. And what is worrying is that 17% were actually embarrassed if their friends saw them reading a book. So books are really not very popular anymore. We can talk about our own experience. You know, each one of us has learned so much. We made mistakes. We don't want our children to repeat. But then we must realize that the moment you start a conversation and say, "In my experience," the child says this is a sermon, and the child doesn't want to hear, because we must remember what Charles Wadworth has said, that by the time a man realizes that his father was probably right, he usually has a son who thinks he's wrong. So your own experience doesn't really gel very well. And that's really what got me thinking and got me to write this book called Is Your Child Ready to Face the World? And it really is a simple book that talks about how do you communicate with this generation which is very different, that likes to debate and question. And in the book I describe a very simple technique that I developed looking at other parents, looking at relatives, and what we did with our son. And very simple, get 15-20 minutes with the child when he wants that time. It can't be structured, it can't be a fixed day of the week, because then it becomes a scheduled activity which children don't like. And what we did was we would get Devanga's son to talk about something that was bothering him or something that was of interest, something that had happened in school, and then one would weave a story around it and try and get his interest and usually touch on a value. Because at the end of the day, as parents, what we want is to instill some value. So just to give you a couple of examples, and I don't know if you have children here who want smartphones. It's a huge problem these days. And every year when a new smartphone model comes out, it's a big problem. And we had the similar problem when a new iPhone came out and Devang said, you know, "Dad, it's just awesome. Just look at the feel, look at the quality, look at the technology."
Thank you so much, Dr. Shani. We'll pick your brains about all the things that you said. As a parent also, my curiosity is like at its peak right now. But we cannot do without hearing what, Ms. Rupal Patel has to tell us. So please do join us on the dais.
Good afternoon. It's when you're serving dinner, yes, if you're serving dinner and having a conversation, that's a wonderful thing because you're actually bonding in that conversation. But if I'm just meeting out rules and I'm saying do this, do that, do this, do that, I might be around my child the entire day. I might not even be working. But if I'm going to be around just doing that, I'm not actually building that bond. So very, very important is to build that bond. Another thing I wanted to touch upon was, when we want to inculcate values, if I am not clear about the values myself, how am I going to inculcate them? So I need to have clarity, what are the values I want to inculcate? I might have a certain list, and again, as I said, everybody's will be different. There are certain which are very common, which everybody would want their kids to have, but again, that cannot be said that this is what is the right way or the wrong way, because it's your way, because it's what you want for your child, what you want for your family. But if I'm not clear, it'll be very difficult. I'll lose out all the teachable moments. For example, if I want to teach my child gratitude, but somebody has given a child a gift, and if I'm not aware that I want to teach gratitude, I will not remember to encourage my child to send a thank you note or say thank you in some way. Similarly, I might have two values, but I don't know which one is a priority. I might want my child to be very independent, and at the same time, I want a very neat house. My house has to be very clean. Now, if I'm going to teach independence to a 3-year-old, and maybe he starts with eating food on your own, so if I'm going to start, that child is going to eat food, there is going to be a huge mess. So your neatness.
Well, what you said about elite school would be something that would be said that my son goes to the so-called elite school.
So does mine, but I'm always grappling about it.
Yeah, and there are a lot of times when there's a lot of discussion on it, and I would like to, there was a question I asked myself. What did my parents do? When they sent me to the school, they sent me to the best school that they could send me to. So as a parent, I need to provide the best thing that I can provide to the child. Now that it's our duty also while providing it to tell or make the child understand that it's a privilege and everybody doesn't have it. Now there are various ways that it can be done. In Ranveer's school, now as he goes into, as he will go into MYP, there's a very strong, their social services a very strong message which has marks for it. So they have to do projects, they have to come up with projects where they're giving back to the society. So the school is doing its bit. From my side, the other thing that happens is that be it your help or people who work with you, your employees, and people who help you with your day-to-day living, their children. So there are things when he knows that this is extra. There are these many gifts that have come extra because we all have those extravagant birthday parties, how much ever you try to tone it down. One is on the birthday, you go to the orphanage, you start learning to give. And more than anything else, you start learning to give at home. So in that, these are the gifts that have come. He starts keeping the gifts aside, that this goes to this, and everybody, the help in the house is called Bhaiya, Didi. There is no, this thing. So he keeps it aside for this Bhaiya's son, this Didi's child, the extra pencils, the notebooks. Wastage is never encouraged. Like now, today, the new thing is that are you having a shower or are you having a bucket bath? That can be a big discussion, but a child needs to understand that there are people dying and killing themselves because there's a drought in the city. You're not going to be wasting the water. So he is going to an elite school, no doubt, but he needs to understand that this is the privilege he is getting, and this privilege also means that you have to give this privilege back in your own small way. So in between his friend's mother works in a really lovely organization where you have to give it time, where you take on these children, which is called the Angel Express, and you give the time and you teach those children. You teach them English, which the normal government schools, they're not very strong with, or help them with subjects that, because you had the education, you can teach them that. And I have my friends' children who are 12 and 13 who go there and teach these children, younger children. They help them with their English, they help them with their other, whatever subjects they're having difficulty with. They spend time and they're teaching them. And that's the way I think that this topic went back.
I want to take on from where she's just said. I think the schools and colleges can do a lot in this.
It's totally
and they've got medical insurance. Now
Dr. Sipal, all of us are so dogged, they're not going to let you go. They're like,
Absolutely.
no, why should I do this? You tell me the logic behind it. And you're like, I don't have time to tell you the logic. But you just have to understand.
It's very
it doesn't
interesting
work
how
anymore.
someone who's a granddad, Mr. Bachchan, wrote the foreword for my book, and he writes and he says you need to give them roots and you need to give them wings.
Yeah.
So it's so beautiful, So you have to be a parent and you also have to be a friend.
Sonali's, from her world, we should say that you have to play a double role. You have to be also stern, and you have to tell your child when he's wrong and he needs to be told. I'm sorry, this whole thing about I'm only a friend to my thing doesn't work. I must say, and it doesn't work even. Today I think my students respect me because they know when I'm going to tell them something, it is in their interest. I think that double role has to be there. When my eyebrows start twitching, my son knows that it's time, he can't take any more.
That's it. Rupal, any last words on this fine line about
I would actually think respect plays a very crucial role in that, and
Who are not parents who have been children, and I think we have equal amount of questions about the parenting issue.
You have a question?
Sure. Can you hear me? Okay. I'm not posing this question to anyone in particular, but I have a 4-year-old and I have a 3-month-old. And, I'm constantly trying to find the balance. Like my 4-year-old comes up to me and says, Mama, you're my best friend. But the thing is, when I have to reprimand him, like Winnie said, we're all I've somewhere read somewhere that you said that you know, at the end of the day, moms have to be the bad witches. We're like, clean this up, do that, get into bed, do that, do that. So he looks up at me in a time when I'm stressed because my 3-month-old you know, is crying and I'm like trying to get him to bed. He's like, why are you always yelling at me? Why are you always angry at me? You know, be happy with me. So how do you walk that thin line? How do you say you need to be disciplined, but you know, do it in a nice way, please? How do you put that? You know, how do moms do that? Because dads sure don't want to walk that line.
Rupal, you want to answer that?
So basically with your children, you kind of choose the battles, and every battle can't be won and be fought all the time. So you choose them, and what is the most important thing? Because then, like you said, you're going to be finding fault with everything, and that's what ends up happening. So you choose the battles, and there are certain things that you let go, and you say that everything doesn't have to be perfect. Let it be. These things are going to be, but this is not, you know, like spilling something or something being a little dirty for a little while is not going to be dangerous. But something, if you're doing something that is dangerous, that needs to be stopped right at that point. So choose your battles would be a better option in that sense. And another thing that I discovered was that me trying to teach my child or sit when he's doing his schoolwork is the worst thing possible, because that's where the battleground starts. So
really?
That's something I pick myself out of. I'm not equipped to deal with it. I understand that, I accept it, and I don't get into it. So he does his schoolwork the way he wants to do it. He does it with his teachers, because that interaction that I have with him, I realized was only full of stress, and I don't want that stress with him. So you have to let go of a few things and choose the battles. Dr. Shani wrote the foreword for my book, and when I sent it to her, that was the first thing she said. You know, I understand in this digital age, she was fully clued in. She got everything that I was saying, and she was more clued in and more like as young as, you know, we were. And I was like, Dr. Shani is like so cool about it, and she got everything that we were saying, and that's the whole thing, because she's moving with them. She's seeing all the kids that are coming in.
If I don't do
the
it,
new challenges.
I'll have no attendance in my class.
Yeah, absolutely.
Young is as young thinks, Dr. Shani. Isn't it? All right, is your question answered? Yeah.
There's just a few things that I would say that, you know, it's not like I don't think parenting is collapsing or anything. Basically, parents all want the good for the child. They want. So sometimes the parents who themselves are a bit misguided about what the good actually is. So, you know, that is the issue I feel sometimes. Also, the thing is that the challenge today that we face is that we are in a digital age. Like my son told me something which was really, he said, oh, Mom, I'm 10 years old, YouTube is as old as me. I said, YouTube has only been around for 10 years, and I am technologically challenged, and yet I'm so used to YouTube. So, you know, suddenly in last 10 years, the whole concept of a lot of things has changed so drastically. For my son, he's not looking up to some musician as a star or a rock star, a hero worshipping just some sports person, but there are YouTubers that they are more keen on. They're not interested in television, they're more interested in the YouTubers, the blogging. So, you know, here are these young 16-year-olds who are millionaires and billionaires, and they are the examples for your child who's watching it. And I have no clue. 10 years back, I had no clue that there would be a profession like this. So honestly, when I'm going to tell my child to do something, I am learning. I keep telling myself I'm learning. I don't know. 10 years ago, this was not there. 10 years later, I don't know what the world is going to be like, what they are going to grow up into. So there are going to be certain things that are never going to change.
And parents will need to evolve with the children.
Values, your roots that are never going to change. So give them the values, give them the roots, because you cannot anticipate what is going to happen 10 years later. Let them have the values and roots which will see them through all that is to come.
No, but you know, this is one big challenge I face with my teachers. You won't believe the battle that I have with my teachers.
अब चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए, प्रैक्टिस कभी मिस नहीं करना। इसीलिए आज मैच के दिन उसे सरप्राइज देने आई हूँ।
मस्त खेले तू सच्ची और यहाँ एकदम मस्त। थैंक यू यार, इट्स ओके।
अधर
Ladies and gentlemen, those of you who want one-on-one with any of our panelists, barring Dr. Shani who's left, so just contact Snigdha here from a PR team and she'll be happy to arrange a one-on-one interview.
बाहर करूँगा क्या सोलो सोलो
आता लाइट वाढव सोलो सांग.
Thank you so much for taking time out and being here in Copenhagen. Thank you so much. It's been delightful.
सोनाली के
सोनाली
मैडम लेफ्टला
समोर मॅडम इथे समोर
सोनाली लेफ्ट थैंक यू.
फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मैं यही कहना चाहूँगी कि हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर ने जो ये एक्टिविटी शुरू की है, जो ये इनिशिएटिव लिया है, so I think for me it's a really good step forward because you know things are changing. It's a digital world now. Parenting has its own challenges. पहले की तरह नहीं कि हो जाएगा, उससे होता नहीं है. So in fact जो मैंने किताब लिखी थी, The Modern Gurukul has been based on the same thing because it's become more and more challenging. So in that sense I think this is a great initiative जहाँ पे at least एक बात तो शुरू हो रही है, conversation शुरू हो रहा है, जहाँ पे एक kind of forum बने, जहाँ पे लोग अपने प्रॉब्लम्स लेके आए, उसके बारे में चर्चा हो. बिकॉज कोई भी नई चीज़ हो और उसके बारे में जब तक डिस्कशन नहीं होगा वो बात को सॉल्व नहीं किया जा सकता या उससे आगे नहीं बढ़ा जा सकता. सो आई थिंक दिस इज़ अ ग्रेट इनिशिएटिव. एंड अदर थिंग इज़ दैट इट्स लवली व्हेन कॉर्पोरेट्स टेक अप स्टेप्स लाइक दिस. सो यू नो if you want to do certain activities, you need certain amount of funding. It's a great thing that they are doing this and they're funding it, and we're having a very logical and a very important discussion. So this was one of my first ones and it's great because like I said कि ये conversation बहुत ज़रूरी है, ये बातें करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. So जब भी ये discussion होता है, हर बार मैं भी कुछ नया सीख के जाती हूँ, कोई और सीख के जाता है. तो ये जो when you meet और जो ये exchange of ideas होता है वो बहुत ज़रूरी है.
जैसे कि कई बार बच्चे कुछ और करना चाहते हैं लेकिन माँ बाप कुछ और चाहते हैं बच्चों से करना.
जी.
उन्हें फोर्स किया जाता है कुछ और करने के लिए. तो
जी.
पर आप क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
मैं हमेशा कहती हूँ कि एक फाइन लाइन है. डेफिनेटली बच्चों को डायरेक्शन दिखाना ज़रूरी है, लेकिन फोर्स और डायरेक्शन दिखाने में बहुत फ़र्क है और वो फाइन लाइन मेंटेन करना बहुत ज़रूरी है.
उनको फोर्स किया जाता है कि तुम ये मत करो, ऐसा पढ़ाई
नहीं, दैट्स व्हाई आई एम सेइंग कि उनको डायरेक्शन दिखाना कि ये रास्ते आप चूज़ कर सकते हो बहुत ज़रूरी है, लेकिन फोर्स करना डेफिनेटली नॉट. जी.
सेकंड पे आप लिख रहे हैं, उसके बारे में क्या बताना चाहेंगे?
वेल सेकंड के आइडियाज़ हैं और आई थिंक आई नीड टू गेट ऑन टू इट, लेकिन अभी तक टाइम नहीं मिला है. आई विल जब रणवीर की छुट्टियां शुरू हो जाएंगी, आई एम डेफिनेटली गोइंग टू सिट एंड वर्क दैट आउट.
ये जो आपकी सेकंड जो होगी ये भी मतलब बच्चों पर ही आधारित है.
आई डोंट नो स्टिल. वेट एंड वॉच. एंड उसको थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा. आई एम गोइंग टू टेक अ लिटिल ब्रेक एंड देन गो इनटू द बुक.
एंड आप एक शो भी लाने वाले हैं सेकंड, एक बच्चों का एक टॉक शो, उसके बारे में क्या कहना चाहिए?
वेल how do you get to hear it? अभी तक कुछ भी फाइनलाइज नहीं है. So let's see how it goes. It depends.
Thank you.
Thank you.
मैम एक मैम गुड विशेष चाहिए थी. ऑल द बेस्ट फॉर योर न्यू शो मेट्रो 5 सोनाली.